Hey folks, Libby here once again. Welcome back to another review. Hope you enjoyed my review slash epic rant on Birds of Prey starring Margot Robbie. Yeah, I hated that movie. And what I've been doing, guys, remember this is my new YouTube channel with a mass profile picture on it. If you want to see me do more videos, stick on this channel. Also, guys, remember, name's Libby McNally. So, how you doing? And thank you for the 265 subs. And I'm sorry I didn't do a video yesterday, guys. I wanted to, but I had to work on. When you're working at FedEx, and I have to work like yesterday, I had to be there at 3:45 a.m. in the morning, and I'm working on trucks. I'm tired. Yeah, my body's exhausted. But, it's money that I need, so. And I'm sorry, guys. If I don't do a review afterwards sometimes, after work, just today I'm off, so I got to do this review. Like I said, I hope you enjoyed my reviews of Birds of Prey. What I've been doing, guys, is a superhero marathon. What I've been doing, what I call the 2020s era of superhero reviews. These are superhero films that came out in this decade that we're living in now, uh, from 2020 to 2025 for now. But if you watched my quick, finally quick update video, I did explain about the 2020 era superhero reviews coming up on this channel. And right now I'm starting with the year 2020. It's not too many movies. I reviewed Superman. I shared my review of Superman Red Sun. I'm also going to share my review of Superman Man of Tomorrow and the DC Showcase short film Batman: A Death in the Family. I read those on my other channel. Don't subscribe to that channel, but I will share them on my superhero reviews playlist. Superman Man of Tomorrow, that is on my Superman reviews that I put on this. And Batman Death in the Family. It's an interactive movie about the death of Jason Todd that is on my Batman reviews marathon on my channel here if you want to check that out. And I'm also going to add in my superhero reviews. I think Superman tomorrow was August and Batman Death of the Showcase, Batman Death in the Family, DC Showcase short film came out in October. So, but anyway, this film, like I say, guys, I go by years and months. And this film stars Vin Diesel. This came out in March. It's a film that stars Vin Diesel and it's directed by David S.F. Wilson, and it is based on the Valiant comics, which I've never read, and that is starring Vin Diesel. That is the 2020 superhero film, comic book film, Bloodshot. Which honestly, I did not care for this movie. I was not a fan. I hated this film. This is going to be another rant. I thought this. Not every 2020 review is going to be a rant, but there will some that will be a rant. Yeah, I hated this movie. Yeah, there's an alternative ending, but I don't care. I did not care for this flick. Just right off the bat to tell you right now. Well, it is based on the character Bloodshot, which let me read about it a little bit. Yeah, who is in the comics here? Here's what the character looks like. The Bloodshot character has different origins and incarnations, but he's considered a character empowered by these nanites. It's like he could regenerate, kind of like Deadpool, injected into his bloodstream. A creature that lives a rare single scar on his chest, which of course you see right here. Yeah. Hence the name. This gives Bloodshot enhanced physical traits, ability to repair damage to his body, database of weapons and hand-to-hand combat training, and mental connection to computers. A side by the use of his powers is that his skin becomes a chalk white and his eyes become red. Other powers vary with each carnation. He's got superhuman strength, speed, agility, stamina, regeneration, master of hand-to-hand combat, skilled marksman, limited shifting. He was created by Kevin Van Book and Del Perlin. Doing it, yeah, I think they were from Marvel Comics, but this is not a Marvel movie. He's not a Marvel character. It's a Valiant comic character. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, so in this movie they give him a different. In the comics, his name is Angelo Mortia, or something like that. I'm sorry, but it's Angelo, but not in here. Sounds like a pretty interesting story. Wow, about he's a ruthless and arrogant hitman climbing the mob ranks, and about Mary, the daughter of mobster Gino Canelli. Oh, okay. But like I said, I guess there's different incarnations of the character. There is a Ray Garrison in the comics. I think that's the character's name in here as well. Yeah, a lot of different parts of the comics, but I guess his name is Angelo Murtia in the comics. I don't know for sure, folks. I guess it says different incarnations, which I've never read a comic book in my life, and I've never don't know nothing about Bloodshot. So you know, this could have been a good movie. It could have worked, and plus, it really affected the movie that this is PG-13. And if the character is like a hitman in each version, or in this case, like a military man, I think they should go with the hitman story and have a different actor in the lead. It would have been more interesting. Yeah, but this film was also made by Sony, the people that made also the Spider-Man universe of the villain movies, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, like Venom, the Venom movies, and Morbius, which came out I think like 2 years later in 2022 after this. Yeah, because I know this because there's a trailer for the movie also. When you watch this movie, when they show previews, Morbius is the one that's yeah, Morbius sucks too. So yeah, Sony got involved. It's also distributed by them. So anyway, for the production, in March 2015, Columbia Pictures acquired the film rights to the Valiant Plans comics character Bloodshot, with plans for the project to be produced by Original Film and Valiant Entertainment. Jeff Walls was initially hired to write the screenplay. The following month, Sony Pictures Original Film and Valiant has a 5-year picture deal to adapt Valiant Comics characters for a film. Bloodshot, including as part of the slate. Chad Stileski and David Lynch were attached to direct from a script by Waldo and Eric Hazer, but eventually, sorry, I can't say the name right, part of the project. David Wilson was announced as the director, marking his future directorial debut. Screenwriter Adam Kozak later did revisions of the script. In July 2017, Jared Leto was reported to be in the early talks to play the title role, which I think would have been maybe interesting. I do like him as Morbius, but Morbius is a shitty film too. Yeah. But Vin Diesel was officially signed to star as the character. I'm sorry. Yeah. Then you had other cast members. Ozzy Gosling, beautiful woman, is in here as well. Tubby Kibble, some villains. They were cast some villains in here. Apparently, Michael Sheen exited the project because he had to do other projects at the time, scheduling conflict, so he couldn't do the movie. Ken Wannabe, as Toyo was scrapped due to changes in characters. Ken Wannabe, oh gosh, the guy from the guy's 2014 movie, Batman Begins, good actor. Not big on this movie, but I liked him in Inception. He would have been awesome to see his character in here. Michael Sheen. Yeah. Filming began on August 6, 2018. Film locations included Cape Town, South Africa, Prague, Republic, and Budapest, Hungary. Different countries. And then they officially wrapped on October 25th, 2018. The film score was composed by Steve Jelinski. His guys world premiere on March 10, 2020. The film probably was out of theaters pretty quickly because I guess because when COVID-19 hit that same year. Yeah, it was around March, I think, when COVID hit. But it did give a return to cinemas, though, beginning May 1st, 2020. It was released in China in July 24th, 2020, and turned to AMC theaters in the US in August 2020. Yeah. It gets to 31%. I think it needs to be more lower. Yep. One guy says the trash compactor of comic film. I agree. Praising smart trash. I'm like, I don't think it's smart. I think it's awful trash. It's just trash, plain trash. That's yeah. Richard Rober called it frankly overcooked with a headache, rapid cut action sequence. I agree. They criticized Vin Diesel for writing that he likes the gratuitous delivery and appears disengaged. I agree. Why this film to win any awards should have gotten Razzies. Let's see. Well, the good news is they were nominated for awards. Should have been nominated for Razzies, but it didn't get it any. Yeah, and it did, like I said, about theater closure because of COVID. It got negative reviews from critics. It got praised for visual effects and action sequences, but critics has directed at Diesel's performance and the film's narrative. So the film stars Vin Diesel as Ray Garrison, Bloodshot. Vin Diesel, I mean, I liked him in the Fast and Furious films. I'm talking about just the first, like the first movie, Fast Two Furious. I like his cameo in Tokyo. I really watched Tokyo Drift over this. Yes. Fast Forward, that's my least favorite, but I'd rather watch it over this. At least Paul Walker and him are good in that, despite the messy story. I've never seen the Chronicles of Riddick. I don't like the Pacifier. I thought the Pacifier was He was in Saving Private Ryan, one of his early films with Tom Hanks. Oh, he was in Orderly and Awakenings. Okay. Just a small part with the later on Williams and the Iron Giant. I love the Iron Giant. Of course, these are comic films with Guardians of the Galaxy, I believe. And like I said, Fast 5, Fast 6. Furious 7, he was okay. But Fast 8, I don't really care. I didn't care for Fast 8 too much. Fast 9 and 10, I'm like, another program like 11th film. I haven't seen those. I don't care to. I mean, I was done with the Fast and Furious movie after Paul Walker died, after Furious 7 came out back in 2015. That was about, what, 10 years ago now? Yeah. Well, I said Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1, 2, XX, action film I like. Yeah. In Avengers, Infinity War Game, voicing Groot. Yeah. Thor Love and Thunder, yeah, he just has a small part in that. And Guardians 3, which I'd rather watch over this. That movie wasn't perfect, but I'd rather watch it over this. I get more entertainment out of that. Vin Diesel, he can be good in some movies, but I don't think he's an Academy Award winner actor, but that's just me. Eliza Gunnis is Katie, just KT, her initials. She's from Dust Till Dawn of the series. I just basically remember her in a movie. Only thing I've seen her in the movie was in Baby Driver, where she was gorgeous in that. She's a gorgeous woman. She was in Godzilla vs. Kong, which I have not seen. Sam Hugnott as Jimmy Dalton. Did not care for him. So, The Spy Who Dumped Me, which I've never seen. Toby Kebbell as Martin AX, which I thought he sucked in here, but I liked him as Koba and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes and Rise of the Planet of the Apes. And you know what? I even liked him as Doctor Doom. I'd rather watch Fantastic Four 2015 over this. Say what you will about that movie, but I'd rather watch that. That's a better film than this, in my opinion. And like I said, I liked him as Koba. You know, I thought he did a good job in that. Taylor Riley as Jeannie Harrison, uh, English actress, which I did not care for her performance, to be honest. Another Brit I didn't care about. Oh, it says she was in Thor the Dollar World. Okay. Oh, it says she was in Inception. Okay. Lemony Morris as Wilford Wiggins. I did not care for his character in this movie. Can't think of it. He was in Jumanji Next Level, Desperados. Yeah. Guy Pearce as Dr. Hamilton. He's alright in here. You know. But it seems like I liked him in. I can think of some movies I liked him in. I didn't like him in Iron Man 3. He was annoying in that. I want to see LA Confidential and Memento. He can't. I think I've heard he judges his performance in that movie, but I'm like, dude, you were a lot better. I'm sure in Memento. I never seen him, but I'm sure you're a lot better than there than Iron Man 3. He was just annoying. He was just a rip off of Jim Carrey's character, the Riddler. But I liked him in Bedtime Stories. He was good in that. And I also liked him in a movie called Two Brothers, a movie about two tigers who are like brothers, and he finds one of them or whatever. Yeah, I liked him in Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler. I liked him in that. You know, I just didn't like him in Iron Man 3. In this movie, he's meh. I kind of got a reaction from him like he just was doing it for the check, the paycheck, phoning it in for a paycheck. Johnny Haas as Nick Barris, who I don't know who the heck that, sorry I can't say the name right, and Alex Hendricks as Marcus Tibbs. Okay, haven't seen him. He was like in the Law and Order Special Victims Unit. And the film is directed by David S. Wilson. Can't look up any information about him, but I can tell he probably didn't get directed a movie after this. Screenplays by Jeff Waldo. Oh, he wrote Kick-Ass too, yeah, and Truth or Dare Fancy. I wish I heard those films. And Imaginary. I never seen Imaginary, but the other two movies, especially Kick-Ass, and the other two, Truth or Dare Fancy Island, I heard those sucked. So yeah, and I hate Kick-Ass too. Nonstop, he was just nice as a producer. I don't think he didn't write that movie. Never Back Down, he directed that. Okay, I actually enjoyed that movie. I'm not gonna lie. I like Never Back Down. Yeah. It's probably the only movie I like that he's actually done. And I hate Kick-Ass too. Eric Kisler also wrote the movie. Let's see. Oh yeah, and Nightmare on Elm Street because I heard the remake. I'm sure because yeah, I heard that film was a masterpiece. Not. Yeah, and the Thing remake. Yeah, I'm sure that was good. Yeah. Bird Box. I've been wanting to see that movie with Sandra Bullock. Heard that was a pretty good movie. And stories also by Jeff Waldo, based on Bloodshot, created by Kevin Van Book and Don Perlin and Bob Layton, produced by Neil H. Morris, whatever his name is, I don't care. Okay, he directed. Well, not directed. Says he also worked on films like The Fast and Furious, Too Fast, Too Furious, Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift, Fast 4 and 5, and Evan Almighty, The Change Up, RPD, which again, I thought that is a crappy comic book film as well. That film sucked. The Fate of the Furious, Fast 9 and 10, which I really don't care to see. And Vin Diesel, who wrote it himself. So, cinematography by Douglas Joffart. He did cinematography for films like The Purge, The Purge Anarchy, The Purge films, Truth or Dare, Escape Plan, The Extractors, directed video film that stars Stallone, Heart of the King, edited by Jim May, music by Steve Jaloski. He's done score for films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 2003, The Island, The Hitcher remake, Friday 13th remake, which I like his music score for that. I'm not gonna lie, I did like his score for the Friday 13th remake that came out in 2009. Yeah, I like that movie. Transformers: Fallen, Nightmare on Elm Street, yay. Battleship, Lone Survivor, which I like Lone Survivor with Mark Wahlberg. Teenage Mutant Turtles: Out of the Shadows, yay. Transformers One Last Night, some crappy movies. This movie's crap. DC League of Super Pets, not gonna lie, I actually do like that movie. Hmm. Production company is Columbia Pictures, Bonafilm Group, Cross Creek Pictures, original film, The Highway Entertainment, One Race Films, film. A lot of production companies are working on have put their money into this movie. Issue Sony Pictures releasing, and it was released March 13th, 2020. And the runtime is 109 minutes long. Well, basically, went out 49 minutes long of a movie. The budget was $45 million, and the box office it made $37.3 million. So it was a flop. No, it wasn't because of COVID. It's because the movie sucked. Yeah, yeah. Because Onward was like is one of his competitions. Onward made more money than this. Not a perfect movie, but it just yeah for a good reason. Yeah, yeah. I would say it's a flop. I mean, it had a $45 million budget and it made only $37.3 million at box office. So yeah, this was a flop, and I can see why. It wasn't because of COVID. You know. And if you like the movie, teach his own, but I don't get it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so if you've never seen Bloodshot, don't watch this review. If you've never seen this movie, you know. So if you've never seen Bloodshot, this is going to be this is not spoiler free. There's well, you say spoiler free review. All my reviews are spoilers in it, by the way, folks. So if you've never seen Bloodshot, good for you. And two, don't watch this review. Don't spoil it for yourself. Turn the video off right now. I'm gonna warn you a second time. But anyway, the plot synopsis, what the story is about of Bloodshot is that Ray Garrison, who's a guy like he's in the military, officer or something like that. He's in the military, goes on COVID missions, and basically in the army. Pretty much what happens though, he and his wife they get murdered, and he's a Marine, and Ray Garrison is resurrected by a team of scientists led by Guy Pearce here, enchants with nanotechnology that are in his body that he can regenerate, and it gives him super strength and big powers as well. He becomes a superhuman biotech killing machine called Bloodshot. As Ray first trains with fellow super soldiers, he cannot recall anything from his former life. But when his memories flood back and he remembers the man that killed both him and his wife, that is Toby Kebbell, he breaks out of the facility to get revenge. only discovered that there's more to the conspiracy to thought. There's more foot here. There's more. All it is not is it seems. Seems. Yeah. So that's the plot synopsis for you. All right. Now I'm going to talk about the movie itself. And again, if you have not seen this film, if you've never seen Bloodshot in your life, don't watch this review. Turn it off right now. There's spoilers in this review. So if you've never seen the film, do not spoil it for yourself. No. Alright. So I'm going to talk about Bloodshot. Let's get into it. Hopefully you guys can hear me in the... Okay, make sure the volume is working and the... Sorry, it's a good webcam. But sometimes it just kind of blinks out a little bit. I'm sorry, but Bloodshot... No, spoilers in this review. So if you haven't seen the movie, last warning. Okay, now I'm getting into it. Spoilers in this review. You've been warned. So anyway, the movie starts off with a rescue operation mission where you have Marine Ray Garrison played by Vin Diesel, and honestly, the cinematography is ugly. I hate the cinematography in this film. It's awful. For the $45 million budget, which is plenty of other films that have not that kind of big budget that have better cinem- cinematography in it. Plenty of other movies, but this film has awful cinematography. When it opens up, he goes to this mission. He's knocking on the door and they start shooting at him. He throws this, and the thing is, this film is like I said, PG-13. You can tell Sony just got their hands dipped in this, like they do with their Spidey villain universe movies, where they make it PG-13. This film should have been rated R. Should have been. You don't see no blood hardly in the movie. There's no blood. He throws this grenade at these guys and then blows them up in both their faces. He shoots some guys, and the editing is terrible. It's just really bad editing, really bad, fast, shaky cam. And when he shoots somebody, you don't see they don't bleed. There's no blood. The film cuts away, and then Ray comes up against this guy saying, "Put your gun down. Put your gun down." He sees his phone real quick. Just sees the telephone. He's like, "Okay, I'll put my gun down." He's like, "What do you want? I want a plane. I want a chopper. Get me out of here right now." He's like, "Okay, well, there's their phone." He's like, "Their phone right there." It's like, and he distracts the guy. The guy, he gets ready. Goes in the holster, get his gun. Tells the guy, "Where's the phone? I don't know where the phone is." And then he says, "Points the gun right there," and then Ray shoots him. And apparently he gets shot too. You see him bleeding. But apparently Vin Diesel, before he becomes Bloodshot, before he gets his powers, he's like already immortal. Like he takes shot. Well, maybe he's wearing bulletproof vest, but still, they go back home. He goes back to Italy. You know, Italian beachside town, and him and his wife make love, spend some time together. And what happens is Ray wakes up. He wakes up. Vin Diesel wakes up in the morning. His wife says, "Going to get breakfast, honey. See you later." She's going to get breakfast because he was sleeping. He hears a foot. He thinks he's like, "Baby," and then he knows that this is being Marine. He knows that these guys are coming to try to kill him. So they seem to try to shoot at him, and then it's just again badly edited shot. It's just quick shot. Sorry, just bad editing in your face. Now, one thing I kind of chuckled up when this guy like pushes Vin Diesel in the arm, and he doesn't. He's like, "Oh shit!" And Vin Diesel picks him up, and man, he's like superhuman in here. He's like, Gina thinks that something happens to his wife. You see Toby Kibble's character. His name is Martin Axe. Runs into him. He's like, "I'm sorry I pushed you." He's like, "What's your problem?" And then Vin Diesel starts going, drowsy. Apparently he put him with the serum to pass him out, and he passes out. He's like, "Oh, got you, mate." Wakes up being kidnapped. And Toby Kebbell is just annoying. Again, I'd rather watch him. I'd rather watch Fantastic Four fan watching over this. I like him more as Doctor Doom because he's blowing people, like killing people, blowing people's heads up with his brain, like we did to Tim Blake Nelson or Koba. At least he's more serious. He does a good job, like in that movie. Koba doesn't do stupid dances. Koba tricks two guys and just shoots them dead. You know, just as a psychopathic killer. But in this version, Toby Kebbell, he just puts a jacket on, a hat, and starts dancing. He's like, "I'm psycho killer." And then push the button off. Is like, who are you? Is like, why you kidnap me? You know. And he wants he asked him about the shoot. You know, the U.S. military learned about the hostages and their location. How did you know about it? He's like, I don't know, man. Who the contact is? I don't know. I go where they point me. He's like, I figure you say that. So a little motivation. It brings Gina in. He's like, I would tell you if I know. I'm telling you the truth. I don't know. I don't know. They don't tell me nothing. I would tell you. Ask me anything else. And he's like, so anyway, he's like, they take the blind, you know, the rope out of her mouth or whatever. And she's like, Gina, baby, it'll be okay. He's like, it was like, it's not gonna be okay, baby. He's like, this weapon that has a knife in it. And he stabs her in the knife in the head. He's like, your life is over. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna get revenge. You better kill me right now. He's like, thanks for the advice. And then he shoots Vin Diesel in the head. And then we get the opening title of Bloodshot. Then Ray awakens. He's got amnesia. He wakes up in the, uh, Eliza Gazana's character in this movie. She like helps him get up, and then he meets Guy Pearce. He's like, "Welcome to RCT." It's basically stands for Rising Spirit Technologies. The company specializing to simulate enhancements for disabled U.S. military personnel. They tell him they did it though because he has no family members, so they donate his body. He's like, "You guys, like, you're just telling me I'm dead. You're joking me." He's like, "No, I'm not joking. You're dead. We're putting nanites in your body." Because he sees the elevator, and I will admit, some of the is not all that bad. The way the building look and the outside does look good, but a lot of it's CGI, I'm sure. He cuts Vin Diesel's arm, hand. He's like, see, those nanoids are in his body. You know, his Dr. Emil Harning, play, Guy Pearce. Guy Pearce, he does remind me of RoboCop, and the whole thing with him having amnesia does remind me of RoboCop a bit, and a bit of Universal Soldier. So it's like they copied other movies in here as well. You know, he tells Ray that he's the most, that he's the first successful human subject that they brought back to life with the Bloodshot program. But they got to be replaced from time to time. Ray gets introduced to Dr. House other patients. That includes, like I said, he's already met KT, her initials. U.S. Army Ranger Marcus Tibbs. The next episode, Jimmy Dalton. Jimmy Dalton, I think, is the one that, I think Marcus is the one that's blind. Jimmy Dalton has these strong legs. And basically, he's like, I'm going to go get tires. You know, and I forget which one. I guess Jimmy Dalton, Jimmy's an asshole to him. You tell him, once you go to bed or something like that, we're playing on missions and saving people or whatever, something like that. Whatever. I guess we can go on missions too, but he goes to sleep, he starts dreaming. Vin Diesel's like working out, tries to punch a punching bag, but he punches his hand through it, sand. So he punches a bit of a wall. You know, he'll put like uses dumbbell, puts like eight weights on it or whatever, just because he's very strong. So he experiences a flashback of Gina X. He Leslie Gall's character, she has like this chip in her neck right here that she can breathe underwater, but if Guy Pearce like pushes a button, it'll kill her. And she talks to him like, "This is who we are now. You get it. You just have to accept it." And when he hears this music, they're going for you know to get a beer, and they think he's having a mental breakdown, but he goes to get revenge on Martin X. He's like, "What?" And he's able to contact. He's like, "How do you contact me, doctor? You got nanites. You got like a brainwave up there, or whatever, like a chip where I can talk to you. Like, what are you doing? You're trying to get revenge." He's like, "Martin X, you just Interpol. That's illegal. What you're doing? You have to stop. You're like $1 million program or whatever." But he doesn't listen to him. He gets on the plane. He's like, "I always come back, dog." Toby Keeble has these bodyguards taking him somewhere to an extraction point, I guess. And eventually, Vin Diesel uses a truck. He tries to shoot up the car, but it's bulletproof. They shoot him. He's down. And the scene is awfully shot too. They got the red flares a bit. And the film, this is like they copied this from a Zack Snyder movie where he's fighting these guys, killing them one by one. But it's PG-13. It's just slow shots. It's just shots that are being it's in slow motion. It reminds me of a Zack Snyder movie, like I said. And I'm like, really? I hate the slow motion stuff. Why you gotta do that? I mean, you can make a fight scene fast, and the shaky cam. This film has shaky cam too. So I guess they wanted to say, let's slow motion, just make it look awesome, see him use his powers. Okay, regenerate. But again, Deadpool does that. Deadpool 1 and 2 does that. Like I said, with the story, it reminds me of Universal Soldier had better action than this. The fight between Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren was a lot better than any action scene in this movie. Heck, a lot of Dolph Lundgren's movies, even The Punch from 1989, had better action scenes than this. And a lot of Jean-Claude Van Damme movies had a lot of better action than this. Some Stallone, Arnold ones had better action too. At least I think, in my opinion. Yeah. This also kind of feels like they're ripping off the Terminator. Like they can use him anytime because yeah, his face gets shot. Toby Q's like, we need to get out of here. We need to get out of here. He's like, no, my men check. The men all die. He kills all of them. He shoots Vin Diesel in the face with the machine gun, and the face just you see move his skull and his teeth right there. But Vin Diesel shoots the guy, and then shoots Toby Kebbell with a PG-13 where he's like, thanks for the advice, and shoots him. He goes back at RCT. They blow up the Jeep that he was using. They put him back to sleep. Jimmy's like, "You're not gonna torture you. Now we're gonna figure out what to do with you," or something like that. And then Guy Pearce replaces memories with a new scenario by Gene Dennis. Spoiler alert: you find out that Guy Pearce knew Toby Kebbell's character. There's also another guy he knows that's an associate of Axe's, and that is Nick Barris as the culprit. Katie adjusts to it because he's like, "You're doing what's wrong to him." He's like, she's like, "Go do this." He's like, "Oh, really?" And he's got a robotic arm, and he makes it. You find out he's also lying. He said he was like a tennis player when he was a kid or whatever, but apparently he's lying to him in his face. And they replace him. They wake him up again, go through the whole flashbacks of him telling about him what happened to his body, about him dying, and KT the other guys, and then going to sleep, and then meeting her at the pool, and then had a drink, then this time going to kill the guy Nick Barris as the culprit. Questions again, what's he doing? Then when he does the wake up again, he imagines Nick Barris, here's that they put it back in his mind Barris kidnapping and killing him and Gina. So he goes to get revenge again. So it all happens over here. He gets on the plane. I'll figure it out. He rides the plane again. This goes to the security doors. This is like in his house, the guy's mansion. Because I'm here to kill the guy, so they like shoot him like 4 times. But he gets back up, kills them. Not too much slow motion shot here, but still crappy CG. I mean, shaky cam, and Nate Bear's just trying to like blow him up or whatever. But apparently, they have this guy, one character, the black guy. I forget the character's name, but he was annoying. He was like supposed to be the comic relief of the film. I guess he sets his boss up and is gonna. So he kills Nate Bear, shoots him. Wilford. He's a programmer forced to work for Barris. He wakens in Williams' office. He gets his memories, but Williams helps him realize that RCT has been manipulating him so he would kill Harrington's former associates. Yeah. And again, but the story does not make any sense. The story feels rushed. He becomes bloodshot really quickly. He dies really quickly, like within 10 minutes in opening of the movie. It's like 15 minutes in barely, and he already becomes a character like that. You gotta have a story that's fresh and actually makes sense. So yeah, I guess because Guy Pearce wants to be in charge of, and I guess you could say he's the villain. Guy Pearce is the real villain of the movie, just manipulating him to set him up as his personal Terminator, basically. I guess because I don't know, he likes the power, the money that comes out of it, thinks that he can control life and death, and wants to I don't know. Just it's just not really explained. His motivations to me were not very clear enough. But it's just, oh, he's a bad guy. You know, that's controlling him. But he tells them, they're controlling you. They're using your mind. All this was a lie. RCT's they're a bunch of bastards lying to you. Guy Pearce is not a good guy at all. He just wanted him to kill his associates. He goes down to find his wife Gina. Feels like she's still, he says, "Hi, Gina." Hugs her. He's like, "I'm home." And I was like, "What do you mean you're home?" No, you're not. She explains to him that relationship ended 5 years ago. That she's gonna start a new. Okay, which didn't make any sense. So we saw her die. So I'm confused. Was this all made up in his mind? I mean, did he die before? I'm just confused. The thing is, though, the guy that he fought with in the beginning, the one that was holding the hostage, I know he got shot. Did that kill him? And then he put it into his mind of him, being that was the 5 years ago, and the 5 years later he wakes up in the. Okay, so it's just confusing my brain. Think about it. Yeah, but they really never explain it. Oh, so she's not dead. So this was just a fantasy in his head. She was his wife, but they broke up many years ago. And you find out she also has a daughter and a son and a husband as well. So yeah. But after Harding sends KT after Wiggins, and she's got this baton, knocks these guys out with it, which is pretty decent. Hits swing on the face with it. But you find out she actually helps Wiggins, and he helps free her from RT's control. Because first of all, when he tells her to go after Katie, he tells Katie go after Wiggins. She's like, no, I'm not gonna do it. And then he pushes his button. And she's like, can't breathe. But she actually grabs Wiggins and he helps her, just like he does with Ray. Who wants to manipulate them and have this control over them. Guy Pearce character does. But she goes back, tells him she failed to capture Wiggins. He's like, if you wouldn't have done your job, you wouldn't have to do this. Ray gets recaptured by Dalton and Tibbs, brought back to the laboratory. Well, they have a little fight in the street first. One of them rides a cool bike on it, but I've seen better bike chases in movies. Like movie I think about like Mission Impossible 2, even though I don't like it, it does have a pretty cool chase with the motorcycle. Or never the James Bond, the unofficial James Bond movie starring Sean Connery, Never Say Never Again. That had a pretty cool bike chase in it. Yeah, and even Quantum of Solace has some good bike chase in it. Anyway, so they fight in the street. He gets hit by this guy. He gets hit by a car. He's like, "You okay, man?" He looks at him like a. I'm like, "Yeah," and his face just goes back to regenerating. Yeah, that did remind me of the Terminator when he got hit by the car. I was just surprised he can say, "Go away" or "Get out" or something like that. I thought Vin Diesel was going to steal his car, ripping off Terminator. Even I'm talking about the original Terminator from 1984. That makeup on Arnold looks a lot better. A lot more freakier too. Very more practical. But they fight. Eventually, one of them on the bike, because Dalton gets his legs cut off, and he's about Vin Diesel's about to kill him. But one guy that's on the bike hits him, and then everybody's like, control him back. He's back in the lab, and he's like in a mindset in Italy, which I'll admit the visual effects are impressive. He's like, I control you. He's like, you don't know how, that's the thing about life. You don't know how it's going to turn out. You can't control me forever. Vin Diesel says, you can't control my life forever. I'm going to get out. When I do, I'm going to get you. And then he shuts him up by putting him back in sleep. He's like, well, that didn't go very well. But Ray eventually gets up. They try to control him. There's a guy named Eric who, by the way, for some reason, asked Guy Pearce, because Elijah Gomez says to Eric, he's a computer programmer there for RCT. She makes a joke about his penis being only 6 inches short, and he wants it bigger. Yeah, that's just weird. But anyway, Eric thinks he's passed out. Bloodshot passed out. Yeah, Van Diesel, but Van Diesel wakes up, looks at him. He's like, "Oh shit! Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!" And Van Diesel goes out for revenge. And honestly, Dalton puts this thing on his back like he's Doc Ock, and they have this fight on the elevator. They think they killed him, and it's just slow motion shots, and the CGI is awful. Yes, we do see throughout the movie a little bit of his which I'll admit this is cool, but it's you don't see much of it, you know. So he fights them a bit, he gets to a fight with them. They, he gets Vin Diesel just kills them, which I don't remember how they die. I guess because the building collapsed and both the characters that captured him and Dawn and Tibbs, they end up dead. The battle was very shitty. It's scrappy CGI and slow motion. CGI is awful. Harding confronts Ray. He's gonna keep doing what he's gonna do. He's gonna get killed back eventually. He activates the grenade that he knows he's gonna die. It kills them both, but Ray eventually lives. And dropping that grenade, it kills Guy Pearce's character, ending his reign of terror. I guess you can say for good. Then Ray awakes with his full memories. Gets revived by Wiggins, who's dressed up like he's all rich and stuff, making jokes. His nanites are self-sufficient. And then him and KT talk, what now? What we're gonna do now? I guess just move on. And they drive the truck at the end with a camper. It's like a camper they have as well. With the has technology in it, they drive off and say, "What we're gonna do now? I guess we can go." And then the movie ends there. Them just driving in the sunset, headed for a new life. After defeating RCT, ending that company, and killing Guy Pearce, they just go into a new life. So again, all right, well that's and that's the movie. That's Bloodshot. Yeah, awful movie. I did not care for this film. Let me mention why. Here's why. I hate a Bloodshot. Let me get my final opinion. Let me get some water real quick. 1 minute. We're about to be done, guys. But I hated this film. This film, it was boring. First of all, the story made no sense. The whole thing about his wife. I guess he was being set up for the whole movie, you know, or maybe he died some earlier in this point, or died before, and they were just planting memories in his head. That's what I'm thinking. They plant memories in his head. But the story felt rushed. He becomes this character real quick. I mean, I didn't care about the wife Gina. I didn't care about most of the acting. I didn't care for the British that played his wife. Didn't care for her. I didn't care for the story. It was not interesting. This film was very boring. Uh, David S. Wilson did a bad job directing. I'm sorry. Don't direct a superhero movie again, dude, because you suck. You can't direct a superhero movie. And the script was terrible as well. The writing, the story is awful. Uh, the music score is very forgettable. Like I said, Steve Jobs, I like some of his music scores in films like Friday the 13th Remake. 2009, I like the score to that film. Cinematography is ugly. The action scenes, the editing is terrible. The slow motion stuff, you're just ripping off Zack Snyder. Like I said, the film rips off movies like Universal Soldier because he's a soldier and he dies, gets shot and he's like being controlled by him, like he's almost like Universal and RoboCop a little bit remake. Guy Pearce's character seems like he is, a version of Gary Oldman from that movie, but he's a villain, the main villain in the film. And the story wasn't all that interesting. Yeah, the film was very boring. Even felt slow paced. I was just waiting for this film to be over. Yeah, and the film has got these rare red flare shots in it. You know, that are just awful to look at, and I hated the shots in this film. The cinematography was ugly. The action, it was too much shaky cam. The editing was terrible. The action was not there. Then they're adding slow motion shots in there, like trying to copy a Zack Snyder film, which you didn't need to do that. If you're trying to copy Watchmen, and Watchmen is a better movie than this. It's a bit longer, but at least the story had a good story. This film, for 109 minutes, it doesn't have a good story. I mean, you get to really quickly where he gets into the nanites in his body, where he gets killed within 15 minutes of the movie. Yeah, it feels like it happens too quick. It feels like the story is just being. It feels like a rushed film. Vin Diesel did not do a good job. He looked like he was bored and sleepwalking in the movie. Guy appears like he's. Well, that's good. She looks she's trying, but a lot of the people, Toby Kebbell, it seems like the whole cast is just doing this for a paycheck. It's got bad writing, bad direction, and the film is just very boring. The story's not fleshed out enough, is what I'm saying, and it's not interesting. And it, like I said, $45 million budget to make the movie, and it only made $37.3 million. So yeah, it was a flop. I would definitely say a flop, and it got negative reviews. Now, man, what did I like? First of all, some things did make me chuckle a little bit in the movie. I couldn't stand the Wiggins character. I thought he was very annoying. Yeah, he's just. telling jokes and trying to be funny, and I didn't find them funny. Uh, a lot of the story just made no sense. It's not fleshed out enough. It reminds me of Spawn a little bit. But the only difference is, well, Spawn had garbage. Some of this film, I meant when Guy Pearce takes him to Italy with technology and stuff, like to see an imaginary world of that. That technology, that okay, and the nanites of his body, okay, some good special effects in there, all meant. And the whole thing, the red, glare in his body here, in his chest, cool. Some of the effects do look pretty decent. I love the effect though when he's telling Guy Pearce he takes him to Italy. Those are cool special effects. But it seems like the film just relies on special effects too much and not a good story. Yeah, it's just a boring, lame movie. It's one of the worst superhero films ever made, in my opinion. I don't get it. It's Vin Diesel's mistakes. They should have gone with the mob story, like with the character named Name Angelo having a girlfriend in that, and that probably would have been a better story. I don't think the character needs to be a big tough guy like Vin Diesel. I don't think this character needs to be a like muscle guy. Just make him a normal, regular guy. You know, that's it. Just make him a gangster and have him the gangster become Bloodshot. That would have been more of an interesting story. But I think, like I said, I blame Sony partially too in this movie because I think Sony, like I said, with their Spider-Man universe villain in movies, they just make it PG-13 because they probably think, well, the movie will make more money. No, doesn't matter. Apparently, Joker came out the year previously with Walking Phoenix. That made $1 billion. Avengers Endgame made money not just because it was PG-13, but because it was a bit dark and it had a good story. You know, yeah, it was 3 hours long, but it had a really good story, a more interesting story than this. I can sit 3 hours to that movie and not be bored once. I'm so happy this movie was not over 2 hours long. Oh my gosh, this movie gave me a headache. It was so boring, awful. Bloodshot is crap. Pile of trash. Not a nice, fun trash like one critic said. No, it's just a pile of trash. And my rating for this film, since I do like some of the visuals, you know, I like Gona's beautiful woman. She's trying here. But other than that, crappy, terrible movie. And my rating for Bloodshot is 1 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down for Bloodshot. So, guys, if you've seen Bloodshot with Vin Diesel, what do you think of it in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you like some of the Fast and Furious movies he's in? Do you like XX? I've never seen the movie XX Return of Alexander Cage. I don't care to see Fast 9 or 10, or if they're going to make a 11th film, I don't care. But my rating for Bloodshot, once again, is 1 out of 5 stars and a thumbs down. What are some of your favorite films of Vin Diesel that he's been in? Films that you like, including Saving Private Ryan or the Fast and Furious films, or the first XX movie. And guys, stay tuned for another comic book review. This time it's a DC Universe animated movie which I'm sure will be much better than Birds of Prey in this movie, and that is Justice League Dark Dark Apocalypse War. Yeah. So stay tuned for that review, guys. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Stay tuned for this, and let me know what you think of Bloodshot with Vin Diesel down below. Give my rating for the film is 1 out of 5 stars, thumbs down. And thanks for watching, and stay tuned for my next review, which is Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, coming up next. Stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye. Thanks for watching.